You know, it's funny how sometimes the simplest things can really throw you for a loop.
Yeah.
Like, I was reading about this event organizer who was trying to figure out how to introduce the speaker.
Mm,
Should they call them a researcher?
right.
But that felt a little too, I don't know, impersonal
Mhm.
storyteller. Well, that didn't quite capture the depth of the work.
Interesting.
The speaker ended up suggesting researcher storyteller.
Hmm?
And the organizer was like, how is that even possible?
I can see that.
It got me thinking because, in a way, that's kind of what we try to do here on the Deep Dives, right?
Yeah.
Take these complex ideas,
Mm.
often born out of rigorous research, and unpack them.
Right.
Tell their story
Absolutely.
in a way that makes them click for our listeners.
Yeah, make them really accessible.
Give you those aha moments without getting lost in the weeds.
Oh, that's the goal.
Because, let's be honest, we're all bombarded with information these days.
Oh, constantly.
What we really crave are those core understandings,
Yeah.
the ones that actually change how we see the world.
And how we see ourselves, too.
Exactly, that shift in perspective.
It's so powerful.
And that's what we're diving into today.
Ooh, this is a good one.
We're going deep into the realm of vulnerability.
A vulnerability, okay.
You'll see how this one concept ripples out and touches everything.
Mm.
How you connect with others, how you parent, your work life.
Wow, that's a lot.
Seriously, it's everywhere.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
This deep dive is based on a researcher's very personal journey,
Arsenal, huh?
which, get this, started with a kind of fundamental clash.
Oh.
She was doing her doctorate, right, and had this professor who was adamant about this one thing. If you can't measure it, it doesn't exist.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
Right. And our speaker came from a social work background.
So very much dealing with the messiness of human experience.
Totally. Where things aren't always so easily quantifiable.
Right,
You
right.
can only imagine the tension there.
Yeah, I can see how those two perspectives might butt heads.
It really highlights this challenge we face in understanding ourselves. Yeah, that desire to categorize and measure.
When so much of what makes us human defies neat boxes.
Absolutely. Like feelings, relationships, you can't just put numbers on those.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is that the speaker started out wanting to understand connection.
Connection, that makes
You know,
sense.
something so fundamental to all of us.
Yeah.
She wanted to break it down, find its underlying structure.
Mhm.
But what emerged, almost as a surprise, was this theme of shame.
Shame. Now that's unexpected.
Right. Not what she set out to explore at all.
Shame is such an interesting topic.
It is, and it tends to lurk in the shadows, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
The speaker's research led her to define it as this fear of disconnection.
Like if people really saw you, they'd reject you.
Exactly. That worry that they'd find you flawed, unworthy.
Ooh, that's a heavy one.
It's that deep down feeling of, I'm not enough.
I think we've all felt that at some point.
And what's really striking is how universal this experience seems to be.
The research actually suggests the only people who don't experience shame are those who lack empathy.
Wow, so people who can't connect with others.
Basically, yeah.
That's a pretty profound thought.
It is, isn't it? And here's the paradox.
Okay, I'm listening.
The less we talk about shame, the more power it seems to have over us.
That makes sense.
It thrives in silence.
Because you feel like you're the only one struggling with it.
Exactly, it isolates you.
And then that feeling of, I'm not enough, just gets amplified.
Yeah, you don't realize that everyone's grappling with these same things.
I need to talk about it more.
Right. Now, here's where the research takes a really interesting turn.
Okay, tell me more.
The speaker starts to notice a difference between people who have this strong sense of worthiness.
Like they know they're deserving of love and belonging.
Yes. And those who are constantly questioning their own adequacy.
Like they're not sure if they're good enough.
And it boils down to one core belief.
I'm curious, what is it?
The people who feel worthy, they simply believe they deserve love and belonging. It's not tied to their achievements or how they look or anything external.
It's just inherent to who they are.
Exactly. It's this fundamental conviction in their inherent value as human beings.
That's so powerful.
It really is, and it makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
How often do we tie our worth to what we do or what we have
Oh, all the time, I think.
instead of just who we are?
Yeah, we get caught up in the doing and the having.
It's like we forget that we're already enough just by existing.
It's a good reminder.
And this realization was huge for the researcher.
How so?
It was like a complete shift in her perspective.
That's amazing.
Her therapist even called it a spiritual awakening,
Wow.
though initially she jokingly referred to it as a nervous breakdown.
Haha, I can relate to that.
It was about letting go of that need for control.
The need to predict everything.
Yeah. And instead, embracing vulnerability.
But that's not easy.
No, not at all.
It's scary to be vulnerable.
She's very honest about that.
Yeah.
She even talks about this whole year she describes as self-destruction.
Oh, wow.
Before she really started to understand the power of vulnerability.
It's a process, right?
It is. And we live in a culture that often equates vulnerability with weakness.
Yeah, like you have to have it all together all the time.
So it's no wonder we try to avoid it.
Absolutely, it's uncomfortable.
And she talks about how we do this in so many ways.
Like what?
Well, there's overconsumption.
Oh, like buying things we don't need?
That's part of it, but also think about things like debt, overeating, addiction.
Yeah, those are all ways to numb ourselves.
It's like we're trying to fill some void inside.
Instead of facing the discomfort.
Exactly.
That's it.
Then there's this craving for certainty.
Certainty, okay.
Especially in areas like religion and politics.
Where things can get very heated.
Like we've lost the ability to have nuanced conversations.
Yeah, everything's black and white, right or wrong.
No room for gray areas.
And that just shuts down dialogue.
Absolutely. We see it everywhere.
It's frustrating.
And then there's perfectionism.
Ugh. The never-ending quest to be perfect.
She makes this funny analogy about moving fat from our butts to our cheeks.
Aha! I love
It's
that.
like we're so focused on presenting this flawless image,
Even if it's just superficial.
but it's exhausting.
It is, and it keeps us from being our true selves.
And it makes you think about the messages we're sending to kids, right?
Yeah, like they need to be perfect too.
The speaker really emphasizes this need to shift our focus
In what way?
away from this obsession with achievement and perfection.
Like getting into the right schools, being on the best teams.
All of that. And instead focusing on their inherent worthiness.
Just loving them for who they are.
Yes. With all their imperfections and struggles.
That's beautiful.
She poses this amazing question. What if we raised a generation who truly believed they were enough?
Wow, that's a powerful thought.
Can you imagine what that world would look like?
It'd be amazing.
Kids who are more resilient, more empathetic.
Yeah, less afraid to be themselves.
And this message isn't just for individuals and parents.
Yeah.
It's for society as a whole.
How so?
The speaker talks about the need for authenticity and accountability from companies and institutions.
That makes sense.
Owning up to mistakes, expressing genuine remorse.
Instead of sweeping things under the rug.
It's about building trust.
Right, because when institutions aren't transparent, it creates this culture of distrust.
Exactly, and we see that playing out everywhere.
Yeah, it's a problem.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, the speaker lays out her key findings for what she calls a wholehearted life.
See, I'm all ears.
They really resonated with me.
I bet.
First, allowing yourself to be truly seen, warts and all.
That takes courage.
It does. Then loving wholeheartedly, even without guarantees.
Which is terrifying, especially as a parent.
She admits that. Then cultivating gratitude and joy, even in the tough times.
That's a good one.
And finally, and this is the foundation, believing I am enough.
That's the core of it all, isn't it?
It is, and these are practices, not just one-time things.
Yeah, it's ongoing work.
Allowing yourself to be seen means taking down those walls.
And loving wholeheartedly means accepting the risk of getting hurt.
Finding gratitude and joy in difficult times doesn't mean ignoring the pain.
It's about finding those moments of light.
And believing I am enough frees you from constantly seeking external validation.
That's such a trap.
It is. So it all comes back to that idea of worthiness.
It does.
And I think that's the question to sit with after this deep dive.
The question of worthiness.
Yeah. What would shift in your life if you truly believed you were enough?
That's a good one to ponder.
How would it change your relationships, your work, how you see yourself?
Yeah, how would it change everything?
It's a pretty powerful thought, right?
It is.
And I think it has the potential to change everything.
I agree.